All right, there we are. May 28th. May 28th. That is the target date. Target date. That is the release date. Happy Friday, everybody. How you doing? This little stream is not brought to you by Safeway Select Seltzer Water. It's definitely sodium free. This one's caffeine free, just like all the other ones, but it's delicious. It's nutritious. Should drink it. Oh, that one was a little messy. How's it going, everybody? How is it going? I'm actually not feeling that great. I took 3 days off of work. I've been dealing with some stuff. So no COVID. I'm actually missing a family gathering tonight, celebration of my uncle, who after 36 years of being a correctional officer is retiring today. So shout out to my uncle. Love you, and so glad you're retired, man. About dang time. But I'm missing that, unfortunately, and as a result of me just kind of not feeling all that great. It's not brought to you by not brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. You know what, though? If Safeway would like to officially sponsor this stream, hey, if there's one place I'm going to shill out, it's definitely for Safeway Select Seltzer Water. May 28th. Yes, congratulations to Uncle Swag. Absolutely. So this is going to be a short and sweet stream. I wanted to get the date out to you guys. I don't even have any music going on in the background, but just wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit and get that date out. May 28th, that is 3 weeks from today. I was doing some work this afternoon, and I've got basically all the script, all the dialogue fine-tuned. I need to re-record a couple of things, and next will be fine-tuning the edit. The total runtime for part 1 right now is an hour and 20 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes for part 1, which currently, I'm not going to tell you where part 1 ends, but it is not even halfway through the actual gameplay itself. So this will be interesting. It may end up being a part 3 for the whole Echoes, but I'm kind of working through some editorial decisions of making sure that it is only part 2, and so I may end up tossing out a few pieces that I think are interesting, but in the long scope of things might not piece into like the story itself. For example, there's like a scene where you're walking up on these two space pirates that are standing next to a phazon, a big canister, and I just thought that's funny because you see that exact thing in Metroid Prime 1 in the valley with the crash frigate Orpheon, and I just thought that was an interesting connection. But those kinds of things, should that make the final cut? And so I'm kind of going through all those things now. But what I wanted to do is give you guys a look into a piece of already mostly edited material. It's about a 3-piece little sneak peek. I told you guys in the Discord that I was going to pop a little sneak peek at you. And so this will give you a couple of things. One, there's some voiceover stuff that I'm trying out, and you'll see it once we get there. But also just a couple of updated looks to how the video is going to look as opposed to part 1. One of the things that I was so encouraged through all the comments, through everyone in Metroid Prime's video, was just how many people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is super underrated, and this is really good material," and that's like the best comment I could ever receive. But when I go back and rewatch the video, I'm like, oh man, I should have had a better pop filter on my mic, or I should have done this and that. So as an editor, you always see the things where you want to improve. So there's just a couple of things in here that hopefully, if you remember what the Stories Retold Metroid Prime looked and sound like, you'll see that this is an improvement kind of on just the export itself. I haven't done the equalization and also just the general fine tuning for the voiceover. So the voiceover itself is not going to sound exactly like this. But all that aside, here's a rough draft of about 3 minutes of cut material of Stories Retold Echoes Part 1. Well, transdimensional travel isn't for everyone. As her power suits recover and run diagnostic tests, this little tidbit of information is exceptionally fascinating. Chozo battlesuit alert. Gear stolen by unknown creatures. It was at this point when it all came together for me. The amount of emotion, effort, and dedication Samus went through to save the Chozo. The look on her face at the destruction of their temple. Her victory over Prime, yet defeat over the entire Chozo race. They were the ones who designed and gave her the suit. Of course, this caused me to wonder, what other connections did she have with the Chozo? And what other connections may we see in this game? But a more pressing question emerges. Who was that creature who looked exactly like you? And she was manipulating what appeared to be Phazon. And why didn't these creatures attack her? As is typical, these events unfold before we can interpret its meaning, and we will have to wait to understand what's truly going on here. So, after pulling herself together, after being severely shaken up, Samus presses on. Our first good look at the planet itself is somewhat reminiscent of Chozo ruins and Phazon mines put into one, but something's off. An audible, visible pulsing in the sky, occasionally glowing an eerie purple. This same eerie purple that we saw entering the atmosphere and interwoven into the biomass that possessed the Dark Troopers. Continuing on, we read the log of Private First Class M. Veroni, which begins to paint the deeper picture.
I think Haley's losing it. He keeps talking to himself all the time, and he won't sleep. He almost shot me on walks the other night. I think he thought I was one of those things. I talked to the doc about taking him off the line, but he said we need all the help we can get. That's true, but if he goes berserk and kills a bunch of us, that won't be very helpful.
What makes this log very telling is his reference to those things, as if he's unsure of what those things are. To this point, the troopers have been on the planet long enough and have had several encounters with the splinters, as is evidenced by your discoveries so far. But the overkill, the desperation, and now the comrade whose mental health is degrading to the point of vivid hallucinations and trying to kill a brother in arms suggests there's something deeper. Something is going on here. Something is keeping them here. Something or someone didn't want them to escape. We learn shortly hereafter that their ship has sustained similar damage that yours did upon entry, which they attribute to atmospheric interference. The question is, was it natural or supernatural? By the looks of things, the Federation troopers have been here for some time, long enough to establish a sizable forward operating base, as gear, heavy crates, and large equipment are sprawled everywhere. One piece of equipment, though, strikes your interest. A large mechanical door with a purple hologram emitting from a projector in the center of the door. Attempts to scan the door tell us that it is impossible to translate. Unlikely that the Federation troopers would have installed such an intricate system, which begs the question, who was here before them, and are they still here? After attempts to make contact off-world fail, you continue on through the halls, dispatching more Dark Troopers along the way. And coming to the edge of the temple grounds, Samus discovers the downed Federation patrol ship, Tyre. Through the logs left behind, we witness the final stand. All right, so there is your 3-minute sneak peek on part 1. Thank you, PC. I was a little nervous about. It was a decision that I made early on that I wanted to try and do the Luminoth, and then as I was going through some of the trooper logs, I thought, you know what, why don't we try and replicate how their voice sounds coming through their helmets, and it kind of shot for you hear him talking a little bit in the scene that literally comes up right after you go to looking through those logs. But I kind of was also basing it off of some of the helmet sounds with different Spartans and different Marines in Halo. Geez, now I wish all the... Yeah, so I actually thought about that. I was like, do I want to do all the Luminoth lore? Do I want to do all the Marine logs? Do I want to do all the Space Pirates? and what I decided was um, all of the hologram and Umos, all of those that I'm choosing to cover, I'm gonna do those voiceovers, and then I have two voiceovers of the Marines that I'm gonna do. There's Veroni, and then there is not the captain. I don't think I do the captain. I think it's I remember there's one more. It's the last Marine. The last Marine's log is really good. Um, but question, should I try and do a space? Because there's a lot of space pirate lore in part one, like a ton. The story arc of the space pirates makes up a good 30% of like the of all of part one. If you're to kind of cover what I'm doing in part one, like the first third is kind of being introduced to the Luminoth and the story of Dark Aether, and then the middle third is getting into Aegon, and the final third is Dark Samus and a ton of space pirate lore. So I guess I already gave away part one. Oh well. But I do want to ask you guys, like, yay, nay uh, on the voiceover for the Marines. Let me know. I really thought about, should I try and do a space pirate, and I do love voice acting. I do love doing voiceover, but I was like, okay, how do I take just the subtle sounds that you get, which is just mostly them just screeching, with a lot of reverb. So let me know what you guys think. Should I do more Trooper logs? Should I do more Luminoth lore in their voices? While you guys are commenting that, I have got to read this from Darth OP. I'm so glad I had my mic off when we were watching that, because I was full belly laughing. I like to call the flying space pirates the mosquitoes, the power beam pirates banana bunch, wave pirates prune peps, the ice pirates the ice cream chuds, and the plasma the chili comrades. Dude, I freaking love it. I will never forget that. The ice cream chuds. That is so freaking funny. So you got to tell me what your Omega Pirate and your Elite Pirate names are. Please do all the Space Pirate lore. I don't know how I could possibly do the Space Pirate voice. I will be doing a ton of the lore. I will definitely be doing a ton of the lore. Okay, sweet. Okay, I like that. The VO is actually really good. I'd be a bit sad if it was. Okay, yeah, there is at least one more. I've kind of gone back and forth on if I want to do. If I want to do. Oh gosh, what's the captain's name? Oh man, and I'm blanking on it. It's a great name. It's a very cool name. I'll pull it up right now. Who needs lighting when you have a second monitor and you can just open up Google Docs whenever you need that? I can't believe I know some of the words from his log, so I'm gonna just search for those. Let's see here. That is really good. That is really good. Oh, Exeter, dude. Oh, it's a great name, Exeter. Oh, this lighting is kind of nice. I guess I'll just keep it open. I guess I'll keep Google Docs open then. Okay, so then I'll see if I can work in Exeter's. I'm looking at the script right now. Okay. Yeah, I could do that. So Exeter talks about, like, he narrates what happens. I can definitely do that, and then he actually does have a log. So I think a steroid squad for the Elite Pirates. I like that. Okay, I will add that to my action items list. You should always have an action items list at the top. Okay. Record Marine VO for Exeter's log. While I'm doing this, the only question that I wanted to ask you guys today is, okay, so we have a release date, May 28th. I have a list of things I want to work on, and I have like my to-do list, but is there anything that you guys want to make sure gets covered in the opening of Echoes, in at least everything through Aegon? Again, since it's the Stories Retold, we're doing everything in chronological order, and so I am trying to keep my retrospective mind totally shut off so that everything goes in chronological order. So once we get to the end of part 2 and we conclude the story, then we can have the retrospective at the end of that video, which will probably be long. And I might need to do Stories Retold Part 1, Stories Retold Part 2, and then Echoes Retrospective or something like that, because it's just so beefy. Like I said, the script for just the script for Part 1, and that concludes with the like wrapping up of Aegon, is 26 pages. 24 pages. I cut some stuff. 24 pages. And the Metroid Prime Stories Retold, the first one, that was 14 pages of voiceover. So I've like exactly doubled it, and that's just part 1. So there's definitely a lot more to cover. I'm gonna try and be as succinct as I can, which is tough when you love a game so much and have a hard time being critical of something and then just reliving the story. It's really exciting. So I'm trying not to go too long. Inclined to go with Backup Boy for the Omega Pirate. I swear 90% of the damage I take at that battle is just walking backwards into the Phazon pools. Real, dude. Very real. Very real. Elite Pirates is called Biggie Boys. The Omega is called Huge Hunk. The Huge Hunk. The Huge Hunk of Phazon, dude. Huge Hunk. Do you watch Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule, who talks about hunks? Because that's exactly what that made me think of. The Huge Hunk. That's so funny. Well, let me know, guys, if there's anything else specifically that you want me to cover. Like I said, this is going to be a really short and sweet stream. I just wanted to get the date out. I wanted to get the sneak peek out, and then I'm going back to bed. I've spent probably TMI, but I've spent most of the last 72 hours either in bed or in the bathroom. So I'm on the mend. I'm on the upswing. Just had a flare, and these things happen from time to time, and that's life. But I was excited to get this out. So if there's anything that you guys want me to cover specifically in part 1, let me know in the comments, and that's good. I will say this too. It got brought up in the pre-stream comments. We were chatting about doing a no expansion. Dude, can we talk about that for a sec? Doing no expansion, the PC 1997. I did a no expansion run exactly. Beat the game with 99 health and 5 missiles. And I really wish the power bomb disintegrating troopers worked in the NTSC version. That would have helped a lot. So, done the game several times, and I've done it on hard mode several times. I've never tried to do a run through where you don't get like any missile expansions, and I'm assuming I think very rightfully assuming that you did not get any of the augmented upgrades. So you might need a super missile, but you wouldn't need like the wave buster. You wouldn't need what's the one? And I'm blanking on all the other ones, but like I think you only need the super missile, right? And you might be able to play through without super missile, but I think you need it. I think that you're railroaded into getting that upgrade, but you only need 5 missiles for that. So that's got to be something. Following all of the Metroid Prime Stories Retold, like I said, I have a roadmap that I posted in the Discord. But there's 2 other things that I would like to add to that roadmap, and this was submitted to me by Black Star Soldier, is doing a Morrowind long play stream. Morrowind is one of my favorite games, and I thought, what would make that even more interesting is a fully randomized build. So roll a dice on every character attribute and race, gender, and all that stuff, and just make it work. I mean, could have major skills, could have no combat skills. Could be alchemy, security, heavy leather. Great combination. And so that's definitely something I'm thinking about doing. And then, dude, the no upgrades stream, that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a lot of fun. Appreciate about your streams. The first game was the way you progressed narratively, no matter whether you had heard of the game. Okay, I love that, Isaiah. Thank you. That's definitely something that I want to make sure that I do in Echoes. I think someone who's never seen the Metroid Prime Stories Retold and watches this one, I think will be a little bit lost. But if you've seen Metroid Prime Stories Retold, you should be able to pick right up because I do some callbacks. So I appreciate that piece of feedback because I wanted to do it that way, and I want it to be that same way for Echoes as well. I want people who've played the game 10 times to find it enjoyable, and I want people who've never played a Metroid game in their life to still enjoy it. So that's really good feedback. I appreciate that. You can't even use the Wave Buster or the Ice Spreader. You need the Super Missile unless you want to sequence break, and which I don't. It was fun challenge, highly recommend. Okay, so that's something I gotta add. I gotta add that to my when in doubt, add another Google Doc. Add another Google Doc. I like it. No expansion, Metroid Prime run. I think a small thing about Metroid Prime 2 is how the game's world and aesthetics look a lot smoother and more jagged, especially with the added detail they put into Metroid Prime 2. Yeah, and we were talking about this on, I think, the previous live stream, is the attention to detail, which you do get in Chozo Ruins, but you really get also in Aegon, where you have like stones that are cut by roots, that the roots are now decayed, and so it's almost like you're witnessing, kind of like, you know how in urban environments we get sidewalks cracking because of tree roots and things like that, but that on like an ancient level in Aegon, specifically the room where the toxic blue tree, where it's the introduction to the space pirates. There's a great sequence of terrain in there where you go up and there's that kind of central walkway and you take a right, and then there's the tree root that's in transdimensional flux, and to the left in an area that's like, you're not, you know, you don't really think to look up and left, but if you look up and left, you see basically the fossil of, not, it's not, okay, it's not a fossil, but you see the damage from the tree roots up into the upper area of the room. And so if you go back into Aegon, check that out. Just really cool detail that they add. And you're right, the aesthetics of Echoes. And I was having a back and forth with someone in the comment section just kind of about the word dark. And the word dark is a vague word. It's up to a lot of interpretation. It really doesn't mean a whole lot unless you're juxtaposing the word dark against something else, or along with something that you're, you know, casting. Okay, what does this word mean in this context? But I would overall, as a very vague, generalized term, say that the visual aesthetic in Echoes is darker. Even in Torvis, the corners are, the shadows are darker. The tonality of everything, maybe except for the temple grounds, you know, even Sanctuary Fortress, you know, I mean, everywhere you go, there's like contrasted shadows and just a lot more detail. And I think that when you add contrast on top of detail, you get that kind of darker tone. For anyone who's in the Battlefield 2 community here, contrast the Xbox 360 version with the regular Xbox or PS2 version. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What I love about Prime 2 is that it drives home the isolation differently from Prime 1. In Prime 1, you're just alone. In Prime 2, there's a bunch of other people around you, but they're already gone. That is definitely something that I'm going to talk about in the end, kind of in that retrospective, right? Because we've talked about that, right? I think you and I have talked about that, where you're seeing the Marines and you're like, okay, sweet, I get to see Marines. That's awesome. And they're all dead. And you actually get to meet Luminoth, and that's awesome. But there's only one that you get to interact with, and he's at the very top in the last room, guarding over the rest of the Luminoth who are in stasis chamber, and it's your job to save them. That's crazy. The tragic desperation of troopers is really hard hitting, taking apart their ship just to try and survive. And that is something I have some voiceover recorded on that. That is the last. That's the last scan before you see the Dark Troopers. is you're in that room. It's basically their last holdout room for the first squad, the squad that goes out to set up the base, and they're cornered. It's like 3 rooms down, and you see their equipment's on fire, and you scan it, and it says that they're hardwiring power cells from the ship to try and keep things online, and like everything is just everything's just going to heck, right? And that's like their last ditch effort. It kind of reminds me in Mass Effect on it's the orange planet where with the mind controlling oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the creature, but the one that mind controls the Asari, and you have to go. It is a side quest where you can go and pull a power cell out of a ship. It's like that same kind of desperation where like everyone is like on their last legs, and we think that everyone here is probably going to die, but we've got to survive somehow. And the next level of survival is pulling power out of something and just trying to survive another day. So those things are definitely things I'm going to cover. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Like I said, really short, sweet stream. Well, hopefully it was sweet. I'm going to get myself back to bed and keep resting because I actually am working like a 12-hour day tomorrow. So not feeling 100%, but I got to make sure that I do. So these last couple of comments, I think one of my favorite things about 2 is seeing Sanctuary Fortress from, I believe, Torvis Bog. I might be wrong, but I think, seeing Sanctuary from Torvis, or seeing Torvis from Sanctuary, because when you're, I just lost my cam. There we go. Bummer. This turned into a podcast again. That's nature's way of saying get to bed. So I know that you can see Sanctuary Fortress, super a long far away, but I don't know if you can see specifically one zone from the other. That is something I would definitely like to look up. That's definitely something I'd like to look up. I went Metroid Prime, proper Metroid Prime 1, so it's transforming into Dark Samus to join Super Smash Bros. That would be amazing. That would be amazing if you get Dark Samus into Super Smash. That would be sweet. Okay, all right, camera's dead. I'm going to bed. I didn't charge my camera up because I worked a wedding, and I totally forgot to get the camera charged up, so I was like charging it mad like right before, so... thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down. I appreciate you guys. I'll hop over into the Discord if you guys want to chat for a little bit. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon with another stream. Happy Friday, you guys.